I think it's just because it's something that's so heavily ingrained in our life, like in the whole system of our life. We're like, oh, I'm gonna grow up and then I have to do this exam and that exam because it will open this pathway for me.
Hmm.
It's like a stepping stone that can't be missed, or we
Okay.
think that it can't be missed, so it's got so much added weight on it by like everyone.
Everyone.
Because first of all, they're built up a lot by the staff in whatever school you're in, sometimes by the people at home, and also it makes you feel as though whatever results you get, whatever grade you get from your exam is what you can do, and it defines who you are. Even though I think that's not true, because there is much more to you than just your exam result. In COVID, we had to like have all these different arrangements for our exams, and we couldn't sit in one hall, and it was social distance seating, and it was all like you had to wear a mask during the exam, and you just want to be able to breathe, calm
Yeah.
yourself when you're having like a rough time during the exam. Like I said, for me, it's like the implications that they have, and also like institutions kind of drill it in a lot.
Okay.
Like they'll be saying, "Oh, you guys have this long until your GCSEs, so just remember to stay focused." It's like kind of a constant reminder that they're coming.
Okay.
A competition between students. Like in my old school,
Uh-huh.
in like set one, everyone is super competitive with each other. Like they'd ask, "What did you get? What are you predicted?"
Uh-huh.
And also sometimes parents at home too, like unknowingly, they might just be like, "Oh, I just want you to do well," and they mean well, but it will kind of stress you out. Expectations from parents,
Okay.
and also if you've done well in the past, that's you building up their expectation, and sometimes it's not as easy as it seems to to perform well again and again and again and again. But since you've already built up that expectation, you feel like you have to fill it again. Sometimes they maybe that you've been studying well, and they might come up to you and be like, "Well, come on, you've got to study more," and then you doubt yourself and what you've been doing. And maybe they don't do that consciously, but it does affect what like what amount of stress you have in the exam. Yeah, like I said with parents, like sometimes they'll not compare you directly, but they'll bring up like a cousin or like their friends' kids, and they're like, "Oh, like she got all A stars, or they did this,"
Uh-huh.
and they're just telling you it to motivate you. But you're just like, oh, okay, I have something to live up to. I feel like since my dad is a chartered accountant and my mom's a doctor, they're both quite academic jobs,
Uh-huh.
and like being a doctor requires a lot of science, being a chartered accountant requires a lot of maths. But I have more creative interests,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I do feel like I'm quite different than them, and I don't know if that's going to disappoint them, but they haven't made it seem like that. But I do feel like maybe a little bit they wish I wasn't into those things. We moved here from Abu Dhabi after 10 years, and it was like mainly for our studies. And I might say specifically for me, because for my A levels and my university, I had to move here.
Okay.
So yeah, I do kind of feel like I have to do well, because we have been I wouldn't say discomforted, but obviously you kind of get displaced from what you're used to, and there's adjustments to make, and you know that it's deep down, it's because of you. Yes, it does, because I'm always used to having my dad there, and I used to talk to my dad about like exams, and he would kind of motivate me.
Uh-huh.
And also, like when my results came out, I wanted him to be there physically
there.
to like see it. Physically, I sometimes get headaches, but
Okay.
they will go down if I take a Panadol or I have tea. Like they're not long lasting, but I'll get like a short little headache.
Uh-huh.
And like mentally, I think I kind of get like butterflies in my stomach before the exam. Um, And I don't really think about exams that much. Like when I'm revising, I'm just like, okay, just revise the exam. But right before the exam, I'll be like, oh, what if I forget this? Well, it's weird because sometimes when it gets close to the exam and you know this is the time you have to be studying the most, sometimes just like you question, why do you have to study? Why am I doing this? Why have I been like preparing for this exam for months and revising? And what if I just stopped? They deal with things differently.
Okay.
Like my sister said, they'll stop eating. Some of my friends,
Mhm.
or they'll tell me that they've been crying, that they've been having panic attacks, and like not being able to sleep well. And but I actually eat more when I'm stressed.
So
I usually like to have a schedule and I like to feel in control of everything. So if I didn't do all the tasks for that day, I'm like, oh, will I have time to catch up tomorrow, or will it just pile up and up and up? If you sit down for a long period of time and you just study, then you're not going to feel motivated at all and you're just going to feel like very drained at the end of it. But if you have small breaks, you take a walk around, maybe eat something, say hi to like your siblings, have a talk, and it could even be for 5 minutes, but that like releases some of your stress and then you get back into it. I'd say a big one for me is going outside, because I don't know, when I'm like been stuck in revising the whole day, at the end of the day I'd just go outside, I'd cycle, I'd go for a walk. That kind of just clears your head, like get fresh air. That would be my advice. Yes, actually a big part of what helps me cope is my parents, because I personally feel that I can talk to them. Like I've always been talking to them before big exams or just before things in general. So they always just kind of help calm me down. So yeah, I can talk to them. Like it didn't get to the point where I felt I needed someone to know about it. I thought it's happening and it happens to everyone. Exams are stressful and I'm not the only person doing it. There are like 100 other kids in my year group going through the same thing as me. So I should just try and get over it myself. Sometimes it feels like I am having self-pity because I don't know if everyone else in my year group is talking to their parents about their exam stress, and I'm like, if everyone's going through the same thing and I'm the only one who's like making a big deal out of it, then maybe I'm a bit like foolish for doing that.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes yes, and sometimes no, because some stress symptoms can be more like you can see them more in a person. For example, like constant sweating, if someone gets sick or something, you can see that. But sometimes it's just in your head. It could be like headaches, maybe like literally in your head, or sometimes it could be your thoughts. You keep on doubting yourself, and not everyone can see that, and not everyone knows what you're feeling.
Family.
I would just say that the stress that your child is feeling, it's usually a mix of a lot of different things, which then come out more at exam time, I think. And that, you'd like to think that you know everything about your kid, and you would know 99% of the things, but there are things at school, and they're just things that, like the generation gap, that you can't always bridge as easily. So maybe just try to understand that they're not you, they're not a replica of you, that they're different, and that they have other interests, and try to find out like what they like and what subjects they want to pursue and like steer them in that direction. A lot of times parents, they think they're doing enough by just showing sympathy, but they have to show empathy. Remember how they felt when they had an exam and put themselves in your shoes and your place, and like allow you to like lay back for a few days. If you need that break, understand how you feel instead of just feeling pity on you.